Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and I'm in the greenhouse again. So this morning, I have more cleanup to do, and more important, more seeds. I decided I was just a little bit too late yesterday to get these seeds in. So what I decided to do is instead, I've got this big tray here. This is a 162. You'll see it in just a second. It means it's got 162 holes in it, cells in it. It's from Hoss Tools in Georgia. Awesome, awesome place. And what I did was I soaked that dirt that was in those cells overnight. Now I can see that it's still not damp enough, but it's better than it was. The soil was way too dry yesterday when I put it in, very dusty. I'm still suffering a little bit from allergy response to that. But I'm gonna get going now. I'm gonna put this on time lapse because you really don't need to watch me plant 100 onion seeds one at a time. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the little dents in the top. I'm gonna stick the seeds in, and I'm gonna mark them so I know what kind they are. Two different kinds, duster and candy. Okay, onion seeds are planted. I forgot the count. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 72 duster, and the rest are candy. Now I am going to go on to handle these things. I have to change the battery on the camera because it's going to conk out, and I have to get some more supplies. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Okay. This is an ongoing project that has been going on since like forever. So I am going to be experimenting. These are tomato cuttings that were taken at the end of the season last year. Unfortunately, well, a bunch of them had already been frozen slightly. So the survival rate was not as good as we would have hoped for. They were terribly neglected and abused over the winter. However, I am going to try potting them up at this point. This product here is called Oasis. It is a product that, well, there's an Oasis that's used in flower arranging, and there's also a very similar product that is used in hydroponics. Whoops. These are broken off pieces that got smashed by the mail. That's the best way to put it. So what I did was I soaked these this morning. It only took like 2 minutes to get them full of water. And I'm swishing them into these planter cells. Now, these were gifts from Deb and Bev, and they didn't need anything this small anymore, and I said, that's perfect. That's exactly the size I need for these guys. So I am going to stab a hole in these guys. I could have used them in the other direction, but I wanted them to stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this a container at a time. And as you can see, there actually is some live material in here. Not a lot, but like this guy here has got some live stuff. Ooh, we've got algae. That's obviously trash. And so is that. I had planned to do this weeks ago, and for many reasons, it didn't happen. So I am going to clip off some of the junk and a little bit of that. I have just one little sprouty thing on here, and trying to think if this is the best plan or not. We'll see. I'm probably going to start with this one and try a different approach. I'm experimenting, so I'm totally winging it as I go along. I'm deciding how to do this as we speak. What I had planned to do was, before these got soaked and all that other stuff, I mean, you know, like before the plants got out of control, I was going to put them into Oasis, and didn't happen. So I'm doing it now, and I have no idea if this is going to work. What I'm doing is I'm just smushing two pieces in there. The Oasis will provide a very continuous source of water for these guys, and it draws up beautifully and all that other kind of stuff. This junk I'm going to throw in the trash. I have a garbage bucket there. Let's see, let's take a look at this guy. There are roots on a lot of this stuff, so what I'm going to try is probably one or two that don't look wonderful, but that still might have some life in them, that might perk back up when given an opportunity. Like I say, this was just totally to see if we could possibly make the stuff overwinter. And we had a colder than usual winter, and yeah, it just didn't happen the way it was supposed to. So I'm going to stab this guy in here. This is very rough, but we're going to see if it's going to work, and if it doesn't, the world has not ended. We have not gotten our tomatoes planted yet this spring. Normally I would have done it probably this past week. For many reasons, I did not. And what I'm going to do is, this is going to be container number one, because as you see, I wrote on here, and I'll bet I used a regular magic marker, and that's what you get when you have a regular magic marker. I probably didn't have one of these with me, but this is container number one. And if I go back to my videos, I will know exactly what was in container number one, because I talked about it. So let's see if there's anything else in here that looks salvageable. I think the answer is no. This is going to be this one. And as you can see, it does have vegetation on this one for sure. This is the experiment part. I do want to beat this stuff down into submission a little bit, and I'm actually going to do a slightly different experiment with this one. I'm going to sandwich it, and no, it doesn't stay tight enough. Okay, so I will have to use this. There we go. I'm also going to take this piece of root that I just cut off, out of a perverse sense of curiosity, and stick it in here and see if it produces. I mean, these roots are white. They look actually very healthy. So it's not like they've gotten yucky or anything. So I'm going to see if they'll actually put out a sprout. It is possible. Tomatoes can be very tenacious sometimes. And that's it from this one. And this is just a total, I don't want to say it's not important, because it is. It's a fun thing that we're just experimenting with. But we wanted to see, we know that tomatoes are actually perennials, and we don't think of them that way in the United States because we're not subtropical in most of the United States. But obviously this piece here is perfectly fine once you clean the junk off of it. It's actually a tomato plant. Ew, that was not good. Yuck. Yuck, yuck. That's a technical term. Yuck, yuck. Oh, by the way, remember the mystery plant that was over there in the bucket? Well, I decided that, having discovered yesterday that it was totally covered with aphids, I was getting rid of it. I didn't get a chance to yesterday afternoon. I meant to come back in, got disrupted, didn't do it. Did it this morning. I now know what it was. It was Adirondack blue potatoes, and I now have 3 or 4 little seed potatoes, which I'm going to take in the house, and we're going to use that to do a batch of Adirondack blue a little bit later this spring. So, yeah, not a total loss. I am going to pull off the flower buds on here, because I do not want this guy spending any effort on flower buds. Now watch this. This is the cool part. This is a broken piece. I'm going to stick it in here, and the water's almost up to the top. Flip it over. It is now completely soaked with water. So I can now stuff it in there. And my plant, I had some roots showing. I didn't want that. I am not a big fan of slime. I spent a lot of time in swamps and stuff as a kid doing biology research, and it was fun, but I've never developed a love for slime. Whatever this is, I'm going to have a whole stack of plants. I have to spend some time today to figure this out, because I do not want to go forth and plant a whole stack of stuff I already have. Okay. I have my suspicion that I know what this is. If I were to make a bet off the top of my head, I would say it's probably Grenadero, because that is such a tenacious plant. Like, if you give it any kind of chance at all, it will grow. So that would be my guess, but until I check the video, I won't know for sure. My goodness, I have a stack of plants in here. Okay, I'm back. The camera overheated, so that's one of the problems with working in the greenhouse. Okay, summary. 162 tray, 72 duster onions seeded, 90 candy onions seeded. This spot all winter has had 4 jars. These were tomato cuttings that we took, unfortunately, a little bit later than we should have in the season last fall, so most of them had been frosted. These are my stoneheads. I got 3 of those. Got 4 Catarinas. Those are both cabbages. 2 different types from Hoss Tools that we're experimenting with. to see how they compare to our other plants that we're already growing. It's going to be interesting to see how these do. Some of them have a very solid top to them with some, you know, these will green up. I know they will from experience. But some of them are really shaggy and have either tiny little tops like this guy does, or no top at all like this guy does, because I just took a piece of what looked to be healthy root and crammed it in there just to see what would happen. Because tomatoes can be pretty tenacious, and I have had tomatoes come back from the roots before, so I figure it's worth a try. And this is one huge experiment. These are the sweet potatoes that I planted yesterday, and they are looking pretty happy with themselves. You can see the little sprouts are looking happy. And I expect in the next few days we'll start to see some actual something out of there. I mentioned that there was a mystery plant that was growing in here. Actually, two of them. There were mystery plants growing in here. And when I pulled the one mystery plant, I decided I was not going to try and salvage them. A bug got in here the other day and chewed them up rather badly, the plants that is. And also they're covered with aphids. So I just plain got rid of them. But when I pulled it up, that's what I got. These are Adirondack blue potatoes. I am going to dig in this section over here because that's where they came from to see if there's any more. I'm going to take these in the house and I'm going to use them as seed potatoes for growing more Adirondack blues. I'm going to take this guy out of here. I'm going to clean through there and see if I find any more potatoes, because I don't want more potatoes coming up later. I've uncovered the peppers and I gave them a little bit of fertilizer yesterday. They have aphids, so I'm going to have to spray them. I need to water a little bit more this morning. There's a couple things that are looking thirsty, and that's it for me. Oh, let me put this, putting my seeds. You'll notice everybody's in the shade here. My kohlrabi in here is just doing so good. These are so good. Almost time to start harvesting. The kohlrabi that's over here, I harvested several of the other day, and these could be harvested any time now. So I pulled everybody. I need to get this guy out. I pulled all of this guy's cousins. The purple ones just aren't working for me, so I'm not going to let them use up any of my water or space anymore. Just giving up on the purple. That's what we're doing. Been watering, been harvesting, been planting. There we go. I've got other stuff to do. I have to get some homework done, actually, for my enamel class. And but lots more is going to happen. So be sure to come back. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you decide that you want to purchase anything through Haas Tools, please use the link in the show notes. Doesn't cost you a dime extra, but they give us a small thank you quantity of money based on what you spend. If it's your first time buying from them and you spend $25 or more and use that link plus the code, they will give you a free pack of seeds. I think they're giving Swiss chard right now. The Bright Lights, which is a really nice variety, very bolt resistant. In fact, we can overwinter it here. So it's very cool. And that's it for now. So until next time, bye. And don't forget, keep on brainstorming, because obviously we are. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing weird projects like this.